Okay, I probably have mentioned this before, but I'm probably going to go over it again if I have. If not, this might be the first time. But I'm actually going to be talking about podcasts and everything, so and how you can use that to, in essence, for your recovery through like substance abuse. Now, the great thing about like going to meetings like with the smart recovery and stuff, it gives you like the baseline for like your like your recovery or like in essence getting better from your substance abuse and lets you move on. And now you're probably never going to hear stuff like this in AA. You're never going to hear it in the cult because hey, look, all the answers are in the first 164 pages of the big book and everything. So you don't like as Kat decided to join us. Yes, you can go and tell them all about the podcast. Yep. Well, yes. How dare I pick you up, huh? Yeah. Ready? Ready? Keep going. There you go. Well, he's there to help us talk about the podcast and everything. So now, getting back on track from our little distraction and everything, I would say like the first like 6 months to a year, as he continues to look for attention. First 6 months to a year, attend the smart recovery meetings, and then get into therapy with a therapist, a counselor. Now, of course, I would say, like off the top of my head, that most, if not all of them, would say, "Oh, just go to AA," because that's the freaking answer to everything. But like, I would say no. Now, if there are no actual like physical means of like smart recovery, reach out recovery, um, rational recovery, SOS or whatever, go online because there should be online meetings that you can attend to. So, yes. What about that, huh? Yeah. Yeah. All right. Ready, set, go. So, if, like I said, if there are no actual physical means of like the actual stuff that works, like your secular alternatives to like the AA cult, you can always go online. Use like pretty much using one of these things to like go online and be able to do online meetings like that. So, I always say like do like the first 6 months of the year to get that foundation, and along with like the therapy. Now, like of course, I didn't mention that like they might like a lot of therapists and counselors might mention like, oh yeah, just go to AA, and like if you don't necessarily want to deal with all that bullshit and everything, this is why I'm saying like go to like meetings like going online and stuff like that. So that could be like your way around it. If and when like you're getting therapy and they say like go do AA, that could be the way around it. Now like with podcasts, like what you can do is listen to people like philosophy and like or like a viewpoints if you get into like any type of mythology, you can listen to that stuff as well. Now the the reason why I say this, as I'm kind of like stumbling over my thoughts and my words, is that like the podcast can help you like chew up time and everything. So like for instance, like in like your daily routine, like uh, the typical 9 to 5 job and everything. So like Monday through Friday, you get to like I'm just using this as an example. You get to up at like 5 o'clock in the morning. You get to the gym, and then before work, and then you go to work 9 to 5. After work, what you can do is like using the online meeting as an example. Do one of those like how many other times you need to do that, like once or twice or whatever. Maybe you have like a once like a therapy sessions maybe like once a week or something. So maybe like 3 days a week after work you're busy with either like going to like one of like yeah, like secular meetings, whether it's actually in person or online, and like the therapy session. The other 2 days, what you can do is like using podcasts to kind of like in a sense chew up that time to kind of help keep yourself occupied and everything. So that way like you can sit there like in essence like pull out one of these and just sit there and just kind of like okay, like I'm listening to like whatever podcast I'm like into like and initially I would say try to pull this out, find different like topics to see like hey yeah what interests you and everything. So like you might be like into like philosophy or like um me, I'll use like one of the like examples I use. There's these adventure books that like I was into as a kid, like called Lone Wolf. There's a podcast that actually goes out over that. It's like it's one episode a month and everything that goes over those and everything. So like And those are usually like once a month and like usually an hour long. So like hey, look, this is interests me and everything. So there's something that you can get into maybe like of stuff that you were into as a kid, like the adventure books that I just mentioned. Maybe you were into board games, card games, or something. That you can listen to podcasts like that, or like maybe you're into history, like maybe like military history or something. You can start listening to podcasts on like World War II, World War One, or like whatever it is. European history, African history, Chinese history. Like you could sit there, listen to a bunch of podcasts on like I said, the 2 days that like you're not necessarily in therapy and or going to the meetings, or like after I say like the first like 6 months of the year, once you get that foundation, like hey, look, I feel like I'm pretty good, to go and everything. I got like enough tools, using smart recovery as an example. I got the CBT and like REBT techniques and stuff to be able to use to overcome stuff. Now I don't necessarily have to go to meetings or and like I, instance, graduate from therapy. So now I got like those other 3 days, like where I'm okay. Well, let me find something to do. So I pull out this and start getting into more podcasts. Like I can, or if you're allowed to, like at work, put in like your earbud or something while you work, listen to your podcast and stuff to listen to history, listen to card stuff on card games, board games, whatever it is that you're interested in. And like once you, and of course like once you get home, it helps chew up time because you're not sitting there like kind of like being idle and like kind of like, oh, well, what the fuck do I do with my time? How do I go about filling out this time and like kind of dwelling on like maybe like your past self-destructive behaviors and habits with like your substance abuse that you're into. So it could be like a great productive way to like in a sense chew up time. Of course, I find that like a lot of my time after work is in essence is used to kind of set myself up for the next day and everything. So like there's also that. So like the 9 to 5 uh, typical work day. Maybe you get home at like 5:30. Like using like the example where like you're not like you're done with like a therapy and meetings and everything. It's been like a year or two. You're on the you feel like you're on a good ground. Like you get home at 5:30. Like it takes you maybe about an hour and a half to kind of have dinner and then get set up for like the next day. Maybe get all your food set up for like with food prep and getting your gym bag ready. So that way, all you have to do is grab and go. So now it's maybe 7 o'clock, 7:15. So then maybe you sit down. You don't go to bed until maybe 9 o'clock. So you still have like maybe like an hour and a half to kind of okay, what do I need to do now? What do I do now? Pulling out a podcast and listening to that for like about an hour or so. Then you can start getting ready for bed, like kind of shutting yourself down, brushing your teeth, getting pajamas on, or whatever nightly routine it is to kind of set yourself up to kind of wind down, get yourself to bed at 9. To use the example of getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to get to the gym before you do the 9 to 5 shift and everything. Of course, I'm just using the 9 to 5 work schedule as an example because you might be in manufacturing where you work 7 to 3, or you might be working second shift 3 to 11. So you might have to adjust your schedule accordingly and everything. So of course you might have that off schedule and everything. So I know there's one job I had that we did for a couple months we did a split shift and everything. So we'd go in 11 o'clock in the morning and work until 7:30 at night and everything. So there could be something like that, an off schedule like that. So it's just a matter of adjusting accordingly. Now, and again, just using the 9 to 5 example on how you'd go about it and everything. So how you fit in essence 9 to 5, just an example. Shift it if you're I said working 11 to 7:30, or if you're working first shift 7 to 3:30 or something, or you just and like I said, just I'm kind of reiterating myself, just kind of shifting your schedule. Okay, look, I get done earlier. I work earlier, but I get done earlier. So for instance, working first shift manufacturing 7 to 3:30. You might do what I've done with first shift is I still get up at 5, kind of have that morning routine to get a couple hours to get myself up and ready get to work, and then like work 7 to 3:30, and then after work I hit the gym. Then I get home. I like have dinner, get myself set up, and like I'm getting into bed at 9. And of course, like by the time I get done with the gym, get home and have dinner and get things set up and everything for the next day, like I said, like a food prep, the gym bag is all set up and everything. It's usually about like 6 o'clock, 6:30. So I usually have like a few hours to kind of like chill and everything. So that would be like the perfect time for you to kind of like get into like using this to kind of get into those podcasts with like whatever it is, like the history that like board games, card games, and like whatever you're into that I used as examples. So this is like kind of like another one, kind of like, hey, look, here's podcasts, like use podcasts as an example of like how to chew up time and like keep yourself occupied and away from those self-destructive habits of like the substance abuse was and everything. So yeah, now you might get into it and you might not necessarily care for podcasts and everything. That's fine. Let's just using, hey, look, here's just something that you can try and everything. So like it's worth trying. Like the worst case scenario is like you try it, it's not something for you. Best case scenario is you try it, you find stuff that you like, and like, oh, hey, look, I like listening to this podcast, I like to listen to that podcast, and then you end up like not only like in a sense like keeping yourself occupied with your time and everything, you actually start learning stuff and everything. So like yeah, like, again, worst case scenario, it doesn't work for you. You find something else that you can spend your time with that isn't a self-destructive habit. Best case scenario, you do end up liking it and like, hey, look, here's something that's great that I like enjoying doing. So here's the concept of using podcasts to kind of like keep yourself busy and like not necessarily dwell on those negative and self-destructive habits that you got into with your substance abuse.